Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, Ruf einen Krankenwagen! Call me an ambulance! Because we have today, from ICM, an amazing set of 3 World War II Wehrmacht German Army ambulance trucks. I've never seen anything quite like it, it's quite strange. Brand new tool, this kit has just been released and just literally arrived in the UK in the last 24 hours. So this is really hot from the moulding machine, so to speak, the injection moulding machine, via ICM in the Ukraine, who, you know, how they still stay in business and keep trading at such a fantastically high level of quality and great designs and just general excellence. Really, it's beyond me. I don't understand it, and I tip my hat to them. So we've got an interesting selection of German ambulances, an interesting choice of subject. So its product code today is DS3523. Let's have a look what we've got. It's a big old box, I've got to say. So it says 3 Wehrmacht ambulances based upon different cars. A Type 2.532 V3000S SS Multi-A, that's the one with the half track, isn't it? Yes, I think that's similar to the Multi-A that we already saw, the different guys. And the Lastkraftwagen 3.5, so sorry, 3. Start again. So it's a Type 2.5 litre 32 V3000 3 litre SS. That's the first one. Then it's the Multi-A, which is the half-track one, and then it's the Lastkraftwagen 3.5 ton AHN. I'm not quite sure which is which. I think the Lastkraftwagen might be this one, but we'll get into that in a second. Anyway, it says the cars have good detailing of the bodies, chassis, transmissions, and cabins. Added decals with different marking options of the World War II period. And then he gives the length and height and everything, blah 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 blah. And then on the side, okay, so it explains it a bit better here already really. So let's have a little look at this. So the Type 2.532 is the first one, the sort of more standard looking truck. Then we have, then we have the Lastkraftwagen. I was right actually, wasn't I? The sloping, almost Citroen looking one. That's the Lastkraftwagen 3.5 ton AHN, which is France 1944. And then the V3000 SSM Multi-A in Poland in autumn of 1944. Okay, now then. I think we should pause for a little, just for a change. It's time to have a little nice glass of some red wine. I'm drinking some Cabernet Sauvignon from the Maipo Valley in Chile, and this was provided by Marks and Spencer's. Okay, so cheers. Hope you're having a pleasant evening, everybody. Thought we'd have a look at something a bit different. It's quite an interesting subject from ICM. And they're very eclectic, aren't they, in their choice of subject? It's very interesting. Oh, well, that'll go very nicely with a bit of meat or cheese. It's got lots of flavour. Let's hope this has got lots of flavour. They usually do have. Let me see what we have got here. Snip, 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 snip. Get in there eventually. They do this thing where they have a slightly strange habit of putting 2 tapes on one side and only one on the opposite side. I don't quite understand that. Not to worry, because it's so well packaged, it's fine, it's great. Just offends my OCD understanding of symmetry a little bit. It's fine. Nice box in the box, so really well packaged. Oh gosh, so we've basically got 3 kits in here, so there's going to be quite a lot of plastic. We've got one set there, another set there, 3 different trucks. The set there, gosh, this could take a while. I hope you've got a drink and some snacks, because this is going to be quite a long one, I think. Whoa, okay, it's dropping off already. There we go. Now, where do we begin? It might be useful in the first instance if I can identify the 3 different types of truck before I start reviewing. That's the half track, so that makes it easy. Yes, okay, so let's do it like that. Let's make sure we separate them out. So that's the multi-A. So that is the Lastkraftwagen. And that is, right, okay, so we've got that sorted. So let's have a look then. Now, there's a lot of stuff here. I think I'll try and breeze through this as quickly as possible. I don't need to get, I'm not going to get too bogged down with describing all the components like I normally do, because there's just such a lot of it, and I think this could be a 90-odd minute video, which I don't think we really want for something like this. So let's have a brief look at what we've got here. First of all, this is the Type 2.5-32 1/35 scale, and on its own it was kit 35402. So, the decals are just popping out, and it says, and I do love the way that ICM do these instructions with a bit of history. I really don't see why other manufacturers cannot do that. If ICM can do it in a war, anybody can do it, frankly, so no excuses, okay? It says, and there is a slight typo. We do get these occasionally. I think you have to bear in mind, because of what I've said already, that they are under extraordinary conditions, so perhaps these things get a little bit rushed occasionally. It says the significant, and then there's a space of 3 spaces, significant part of the German Wehrmacht auto part during World War II was formed. The 1.5 ton cargo trucks. So they are a light cargo truck, aren't they? One of the most numerous items was the Type 2.5-32, which was produced since 1938 at the Opel plant in Brandenburg. This truck was equipped with a 6-cylinder engine and was also used in Capitan passenger car and had rear drive only. Very conventional stuff. These Type 2.5-32 trucks have been widely used by all German forces up to the end of the war at the Soviet German side of the front, but also in Italy and France. I think they're quite common. Some of them had shelters and were used as, covering they mean, and were also used as ambulance trucks, Krankenwagens. Krankenhaus is a hospital, okay, for those of you that are not familiar with German. They were produced totally about 10,000 of these types of trucks between 1938 and 1942. They were very numerous, weren't they? Full load, it could take 1.6 tonnes in fact, at a maximum speed of 80 kilometres an hour. That's about 50 miles an hour, isn't it? That's pretty good. And a range of 340 kilometres. What's that, 225 miles an hour? 220 miles, something like that. It's not bad, is it, on a full tank? So let's have a look at what we got then. I say I'm going to breeze through this fairly quickly because we've got a lot to get through here. This is a set with a lot of... If you like your trucks, you're going to be in heaven. Anyway, it shows the sprue map, as you can see. Then you're building up your engine and your gearbox going together. All your ancillary parts like your fan belt and your fan itself. Then you're building up your chassis, all the chassis members down below. And then we got the engine dropping into the chassis, building up your radiator at the front, and then your exhaust system here. Then you're going to build up your wheels. They've got rubber tyres as usual. Rubber tyres, and then you're going to put your utility steel wheels going in there, and then your axles are going in with your transmission drive, your main prop shaft here, dropping all those wheels into the chassis. Then we've got basically like a big bench seat here. Just leave me a little bit more. I think we're a little bit far out actually. Yeah, big bench seat there. Steering wheel and steering column going in here. The seat back and the back of the bulkhead and the cabin going on there. Your running boards and wings going in here. Then dropping your cabin, the front of the cabin and the bulkhead, main cabin dropping in onto the chassis there. Then you're going to build up your front bulkhead with your scuttle and your instrument panel, glove box, etc. Windscreen going in there. Then that assembly gets dropped in along with your radiator in front of your engine, and then you're assembling your doors and your roof going on. And then you've got your loading area at the back. So you've got like a wooden loading area, and you've got all your supports and the chassis rails to attach to the chassis underneath. You've got your mud guards and your fuel tanks, and then we've got the bringing them all together, putting your cover over your engine and your cowlings, bringing in the load area on top of the chassis. Windscreen wipers are going on here, along with your lights. And then we've got just a few tools on the side, like a pickaxe here. We've got our spade on the other side, a bit like a tank, isn't it? Spade on the other side. You've got your lights going in, and then you've got your sort of cabin area that goes on the top, complete with windows here. That gets dropped on, plus your roof, and that's it. It's quite straightforward, really. So there you go. Now, there is your ambulance built. So this is the first one. So this is the sort of standard ambulance truck, a converted truck basically. We've got some nice decals here, which we'll have a look at. Here we go. That's quite nice, aren't they? You know, the old red crosses. In other words, don't bomb me, please, Mr. Yarbo Fighter Bomber. So let's have a look at the plastic. Quite a big bag, actually. In fairness, I've got to say. And nice resealable bag. So this is one of 3. I like your ambulances, you're going to be in heaven with this kit, no question about it. So we've got our tyres, rubber tyres, let's have a look at those. See what we've got here. That's recently, some of these ICM rubber tyres have actually been really good. Surprisingly good. Oh, here we go, got at least one. Right, let's try and zoom in on this. Here we go. Now, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, not really any visible seam up the centre. Not really an issue. Quite thin, aren't they? Very traditional truck tyre. Looks very good. Can't fault that at all. Looks very nice to me, especially for vinyl tyres. Sometimes they can be absolutely terrible, can't they? Well, those are very nice. So that's a good start indeed. Then what we have got. Let's do the clear parts. Clear parts next. And yeah, pretty good. A little bit of distortion, not quite perhaps as perfect as some of the very latest kits like the Marauder, etc. that we've seen recently, but it's not a problem. Not so that you'd notice. Just see some slight flooring, can't you, here? See that? Just yeah, it's in the mould, that. It's actually a flaw in the mould. I think it's the way it's cooled, so that I think this is a slightly older kit. It's this actual particular moulding, not the very latest, but honestly, these are the windows anyway that go in this sort of the truck bit. You're going to look at them. Don't think too closely. They're not so flawed that they catch your eye. I don't think so. Not when the model's built. Don't think it's going to be a problem. Maybe just lose half a point there. Then we've got our truck. So I know we've looked at quite a few of these trucks recently, and it does look very similar to some of the others that we have looked at. What you do notice is the complete lack of any flash, really, which is what's nice about these. You can see you've got all your loading area. It's like an artificial, like a wood effect, planks. Here you've got your wings and running boards that go on top of the chassis. Over here we've got our radiator. I'm just going to put my zoomy glasses on to have a look at this. So I want to see what it says. It says, I don't know if you can make this out, I'll zoom in a bit more. It says Opel Blitz, that's what it says on the little logo. Can you see that? Opel Blitz, isn't that nice? That's pretty cool, actually. I'm quite impressed with that. Then we've got the doors, you've got your seats over here, your bench seat and the seat back. Then we've got our floor area here, the loading area. And then you've got your engine cowls, panel covers that go over, plus your bonnet. And the front, there you've got the front scuttle and sort of surround for the windscreen. Yeah, perfect. There's no flash here anywhere. Some really nice, you've got the latches, the latch handles here, which are very nicely reproduced. Sharp as you like. Very, very good indeed. We've got a second clear parts set, of course, because this is... That first set I just showed you was really just the windows for the ambulance section. I think in fairness this looks actually a bit better to me. I think the quality of this is a little bit nicer. That's very impressive. Very, very nice. Like that. Very cool indeed. Pop that back away. Then we've got the box section that forms the sort of rear storage area in the rear cab, if you like. Cabin, complete with those openings for the windows that we talked about. So here you've got the recesses. You see it's like a wood panelled effect. Looks really nice indeed. All wood panelling, and that's the roof there. See, it's got the curvature of the roof. Yep. Then we've got the sort of business end, all the small parts, all the ancillary parts. So that includes all your wheels, and you've got the steering, the centre of the steering wheel here, which is quite impressive, isn't it? We've got exhaust system there. Over here we've got the engine and the gearbox. You've got your axles and the transmission housing here. Brakes, back plates for the brakes there. Here's the tools, pickaxe and shovel. And then here you've got your fan, cooling fan. And then you've got your prop shaft here, complete with universal joint connector there. It's very impressive, and it's very sharply moulded, isn't it? You know, things like this. You've got the surround here for the radiator. Absolutely pin sharp. A really nice kit, to be fair. Got your dashboard there. And you've got things like the mirrors. These are quite cool, aren't they? The mirrors here. Mirrors on these great big stalks. Absolutely brilliant. Really nice, sharp moulding, crisp, accurate looking. You know, gives a really nice scale appearance. So that is the first one. I think I'd get pretty close to 10 out of 10, probably 9.75, apart from that tiny bit of distortion you saw on a couple of the clear parts. It was pretty much perfect, wasn't it, really? So I'm going to have to repackage these because I don't want to mix them up and end up with different kits all mixed up, so we have to keep the three kits separate. So you'll just have to bear with me a moment while I just pop them back in their respective bags, like so. And I think that's it for that one. So that was the Type 2.532. Now we've got the Lastkraftwagen. Interesting name. So let's look at the instructions on this one. It says the Renault. Okay, I said it was like French, didn't I? The Renault company began designing of these cab-over AH series trucks for the French army in 1939. One of them was the AHN truck of 3.5 ton capacity. This truck was equipped with a 6-litre engine and had rear drive only. Production began in March 1941, but by now under the control of the German Occupation Administration. Okay. AHN trucks were widely used in all German arms of service by the end of the war everywhere, in the Soviet German front, Italy and France. There were 4,000 of these AHN trucks, all in all, produced between 1941 and 1944. Quite impressive, eh? Quite impressive. So it's basically a Renault design, which is why it's got that sort of Renault-y Citroën look to it, with that sloping front. It doesn't look like a German vehicle at all, does it really? Here we have the decals. AHN with shelter, they call it, or with rear cab. So a really big, the big red cross goes on the roof. So that, again, they're worried about Allied fighter bombers picking them off, which is a good reason to be worried, frankly. Here we've got the instructions, and there's a few areas, a few different parts that you're not going to use. The open stowage area at the back won't be used because you've got this cab. So again, with this one, you're basically building up a slightly different approach, but you're building up a big chassis, two sides of the chassis, and bringing it all together with the connecting members first. Then you've got your engine and gearbox going together, and your exhaust manifold, all the various engine parts, alternators, etc., fans, cooling fans, and all the fan belts. You got the intake and exit intake carburetors, and the exit manifold for the exhaust, and that's all going to be brought in here, popped into the chassis along with your radiator. You've got the sort of it's like a box section that you build up here, which is like the reinforcement for the support. I think that's the support area for the back, isn't it? Not the front. The rear area where it's going to take all the load upon the suspension, and here are the leaf spring suspensions going in. Exhaust system going in there with a central box, and then you've got your front suspension coming in here. And you've also got the front steering rack going in there, and then the anti-roll bars and things. The main drive axle coming in here, and I say there's a couple of anti-roll bars, part of the suspension arms and links here, and it's quite complicated actually. And then you've got your wheels and tyres being put together. Again, it's going to be vinyl tyres. Those wheels and tyres, multiples, obviously it's twin wheels on each side at the back, so it's actually got 6 in total, just to get extra grip in bad weather and mud and bad conditions, soggy ground. Then you've got your spare wheel going here on the back, and in that box section area. You've got your fuel tank here on the side, and then we're building up the front of the cabin area, the underside here, complete with the side panels. Putting those panels in together to create the main cabin box section with this very almost sports car like sloping front sort of front bulkhead and screen. Like a 60s sports car, well ahead of its time. And then you've got all the normal things going in, like the instruments and the controls for the handbrake and the gear shift, the driver's seat, steering wheel of course, the rear bulkhead of the cabin, the rear wall of the cabin, complete with window, both the seats going in there, the steering wheel, doors coming in with the door handles and the window winders. And then we've got the front radiator coming in, doors going on, radiators going on, and then you're going to build up these supports for the rear stowage area for the rear cabin, or shelter as they call it. So you've got all these supports that go across like a girder section, like a support lattice work almost, and then you're going to build up the actual sides of it with the walls, the front, the rear and the side walls going in there. And then there's the floor, it's upside down obviously, but the floor goes in here. The rear door goes in there, complete with window and door handles. It's actually twin doors at the back on this one. And then you're going to build up your stowage compartment here for, I guess, tools or medical supplies. Upside down again, bear in mind. You've got your mud guards going in, and you're going to bring it all together. So you've now got the rear stowage area, cabin, you've got the main front cabin for the driver and the passenger, and then you've got the chassis with the wheels and the engine, etc., all running gear. Bring all that together, put on your lights and your mirrors, and there we go. We have got a complete Lastkraftwagen, as they call it, or a Renault truck in real terms. And there we go, Lastkraftwagen, 3.5 tonnes. With shelter. France 1944. Well, that was very good again, wasn't it? Fairly straightforward stuff. kind of what we'd expect from ICM there. Let's have a look at the plastic. We shall see if that matches the excellent instructions that we've seen previously. Seems to be more sprues in this one. So we've got tyres, we've got clear parts, parts for the cabin, parts for the wagon at the back. Let's just look at these clear parts first. So first of all, these are the little windows. Bear with me a second. Whoops. These are the little windows that are in the ambulance cabin at the back. Yeah, again, there is some tiny, very minor distortion. Nothing major at all. Very clear overall, very bright and crisp. If you look very carefully, just not far away from where the screw contact gate point is, you can just see some fine, very faint. A little bit of distortion perhaps. I'm not sure if the camera's picking this up actually. Maybe you see it there, top left? Yeah, it's just like a halo of very minor distortion. You're not going to notice it. You know, it's one of those things that we're putting such a spotlight on it here. When it's on the kit and it's surrounded by paint, and you know, what ambulance would have had crystal clear windows in a war situation like that? Well, none really. I mean, you'd be lucky if the windows weren't shut out, quite frankly. Let's have a look at the main clear parts. So this is going to be your windscreen and your door glass. Now these, I've got to say, look better. They look absolutely lovely, actually. These look really perfect, pretty much. Much nicer. No real evidence of any major flooring. Maybe the tiniest bit of distortion, but it's very minor. You just see it at the very bottom, on here and here perhaps. But again, it's just that we are really spotlighting this. Don't think that's going to be noticeable when it's on the model at all. I think it really won't be noticeable, in fact. So, looks nice. That's very nice clear parts indeed. So it's all going pretty well so far. So this is our Renault or Lastkraftwagen 3.5 ton truck. And get the plastic back in. It's creaky, it makes a heck of a noise. I know when I listen back on the video I think, ooh, it's loud. I think the microphone exaggerates things just a little. Now we have the tyres. And we'll just grab one for an example. Not quite sure these are as good as they are on the other truck, actually. A bit more of a centre seam. It might be the design of tyre though, so I might be being a bit harsh, don't know. Let's just see if I can get you in close. Can you see that? Yeah, it seems a bit of a seam down the centre. It's very even though, it's not. It might just be the design of tyre, the way they've replicated it actually. It doesn't look like a flaw as such. More a characteristic. Yeah, you see the nice on the shoulder of the tyre. They've portrayed the tread really well, to be fair. Yes. Pretty nice, to be honest. Don't think there's any problem there. It's a fairly basic Renault French truck at the end of the day. It's nothing too fancy, you know, as a subject, I mean. Okay. Try and get this back in here best we can. Sorry about the noise they are, it's a loud old bag. It's a very nice crispy, really sort of pleasant plastic film they use. Right, let's have a quick look at this. So, we have here the cabin area. You can see this very sort of Renault influence with this sloping front end that it has. That's very much a French looking sort of 1940s style, isn't it, of a van. And then we've got our front bulkhead, rear bulkhead. You've got these side parts, which I don't think actually you're going to use those, but you will use these doors, which look very nice. You've got these rails, which again I don't think those are used. I don't think these are used. Got the roof to the cabin here, and then you've got the actual front, which is where the radiator goes. And obviously your two windscreens go in there. That looks very nice. Then we have got two lots of wheels and tyres, which look like this. Also the brakes, which appear to be drum brakes, in fact. Drum brakes. Which there would be in that era. Those are nice. Very good. Then we've got the loading area. This you will use. So this is the floor of the loading area at the back. And you've got your wheel arches here. And some of this support structure that goes in at the side. But again, you know, the moulding of this, when they've got the wooden planking, it's very well done, isn't it, to be fair? It's very, very nice. That's that one. Then we've got all the small parts again. So you've got your exhausts, all your leaf springs here. Nice steering wheel, very nice steering wheel there. Again, you've got your radiator, and then the back of the radiator where the fan goes. And you've got all your engine components here, including your differentials and your housings for your drive system. Goes out to the drive shaft. Here you've got your anti-roll bars and your steering rack, and your drive shaft is there, complete with your, again it's got the universal joints on it. Yeah, it's really cool. And then you've got your exhaust system complete with a central box there. And I think there was a back box somewhere separately, wasn't there, if I remember correctly. Then we've got the main construction of the rear stowage cabin. So you've got your roof. Again, you've got a nice curved roof here. Reminds me a little bit of the British Mobile Chapel. With your window in the side. You've got the front wall sort of bulkhead, and then you've got these doors I mentioned that've got twin doors at the back that have got windows in them. Very nice. And that is that. That's that kit then. Let's actually finish that kit. Okay, so zoom you back. Ooh, it's quite hard going, is this? Because some of it's quite repetitive. Hope you'll bear with me. It's tiring. It's so tiring. I need a drink actually. I think I need some refreshments to sustain me a little bit here. Put that there. Put that there. How's that? There we go. Quick drink, quick slurp. Cabernet Sauvignon. Cheers. Hope you have a drink too. Oh, got a bit of a kick to it, that one. It's a nice wine, but it's one of those wines that I'm in the right mood for it. It's got quite a bite. Not the lightest I've ever had. It's got a very good full-bodied flavour, I should say. It's not lacking in substance. A bit like this kit, it's not lacking in substance either. Or these three kits, I should say, really. So that's basically what we've got here. Got a lot of kit here between the three of them. There. Right, that's that one done. Get in there. So I've got to put them back because otherwise, real danger of mixing up these three. You don't want to do that. The last one. So. This is perhaps the most interesting of the lot. This is the Multier, the one that's like a half track. It says the main part of the German Wehrmacht auto part during World War II formed 3-ton cargo trucks. One of the most numerous of them was the V3000S. Now we did see this kit previously, I think, didn't we? On its own. But it wasn't an ambulance. This was produced since 1941. In the German Ford plant in Cologne. This truck was equipped with V8 engine and had rear drive only. So that's common to all three of these. These trucks were widely used in all German arms of service up to the end of the war, everywhere. In the Soviet German front, the North African front, Italy, France, Normandy, and Holland, the Low Countries and Germany. In off-road conditions, not all drive vehicles showed low cross-country capability. So 13,902 of these were produced as multi-A half-track vehicles. In other words, they knew that some of these, like you've just seen, the other two, going to really struggle in the winter of 44, for example, whereas the half-track ones wouldn't. They get great traction on very wet, damp ground and mud and snow. Some of them had shelters and were used as ambulance trucks. Okay, so this one has got a top speed of only 40 kilometres an hour, which is 25 miles an hour. So it's quite slow, but that's because it's a half track, I guess. Here we've got some lovely red crosses, and not so many this time, and they're not as big actually. I think these mainly go on the roof, if I'm quite honest with you. I think there's two on the side, and the other one goes on the bonnet, and one goes on the roof. So that's your crosses. And then we have got instructions, and yeah, you've got the sprue map here. Fairly straightforward again. Engine and gearbox coming together here. All your ancillaries like your fan, cooling fan, and your carburetor, air intake, etc. Gear change there. Building up. Now this is where you build slightly differently. Obviously you've got it's half truck and half tank almost. So you've got the drive sprockets, which are going to be used on the rear half, and then you've got your main front drive wheels. Sorry, it doesn't drive by the wheels; it drives by the tracks, of course. So the front wheels just steer and brake and nothing else. Then you've got some bits of suspension and springs here. Then you build up your chassis, which you do here. And then you bring in the front drive sprockets and the rear idler wheels for your tracked area, and then you build up the tracks, and it's Lincoln length type tracks. Then you're bringing in more in the tradition of a truck. You're bringing in your engine and gearbox down, popping in your radiator and your front wheels that steer in front suspension. Front bumper and exhaust going in there. And here we've got the cabin being built up in the usual way, with the windscreen glass going in, and then there's a seat to go across, like a bench seat that's going to go in here. Building in the top of your bonnet, complete with all your cowlings for the engine, the radiator, and the front scuttle, and complete with the main sort of internals of the cabin. And then finally you're putting in your steering wheel and your bench seat squab going down there. Doors going on, plus your windows. The side windows go in. Your windscreen's obviously already in at this stage, and then you've got your wings and your running boards, windscreen wipers, lights, all the ancillary parts now, lights, mirrors, etc, etc. Tools on the side. What's that? Jerry can. Oh yeah, jerry can on the side. That's quite cool. Little jerry can here, yeah. And then you're going to build up the big, the ambulance section at the back. This one's unusual because it's almost like a two-tier thing. Perhaps it was to give extra ventilation and extra light so they could perhaps operate on people maybe. So there's a lot of windows in this one. First of all, there's 2 windows per side. I think there's a window in the back door as well. And then you've got this secondary sort of elevated, like a pagoda section that goes on the top with a row of 6 windows on the top as well, per side. So there's quite a lot of light in it. And then you bring it all together at the end, drop it in your cabin, onto your main chassis, pop in your ambulance section, cabin, onto the chassis, bringing in your now constructed half-track drive system, driving through a differential and a prop shaft, straight into the back of the transmission. And then interestingly here we've actually got a set of steps, quite wide access steps for the wounded to come in on. That's quite cool. I like the way they've done that. That's very interesting. And then you've got a spare wheel going on the top of the roof, out of the way. Quite clever. Good use of space. And you've got your steps I think that's the steps. Yeah, stowage steps on the top. And there you go. Excuse me. So you've got the steps at the back, very noticeable. It's quite an interesting vehicle, this. There's quite a lot of elements to it, aren't there? And this was used in Poland in 1944. So you can see they've got steps on the back that fold down to give easy access. So obviously people carrying a stretcher makes it easy for them to walk up it. Very good indeed. Very nice instructions. So we will crack on with the plastic. This is the last of 3. My goodness, I feel like I'm doing a marathon of ICM Wehrmacht trucks here. Anybody that likes doing a diorama, you know, a battle scene where you have wounded at the edge of a battle, so this is absolutely perfect for you, really. Let's have a look at the plastic. I think this is the biggest one of the lot in terms of screws and part count, because there's quite a lot of extra parts of this double-decker pagoda roof, and of course you've got the Lincoln length tracks at the half track as well. Whoa, there's quite a lot of bits have just showered out. If you just excuse me one moment. It's all just bits of flash and sprue flash. Right. Again, I think I'll start with the clear parts. This time we haven't got. This time we don't have rubber tyres. This time we've got extruded injection moulded ones. So that's quite a good thing. I think this is the newest of the 3 kits, because I think we did have it, didn't we, quite just a few months ago actually, as a brand new kit. I think it was sort of New Year of 24. So this is right up to that, and yeah, you can tell because the clear parts seem just a bit superior really if you look closely. They just seem to be on a slightly higher level. They are very, very nice, those are. So that's the main clear parts for the cabin and the windscreen. Then we will have the secondary clear parts, of course, of which there are many, that go in this the ambulance section at the back. In you go. Ambulance section. Gosh, feels like a trial. There's so many of them, and there's so many parts that are quite similar. Obviously, having 3 trucks, you're going to get a lot of similarities. Oh, that's beautiful. Really nice clear parts again here. Something ICM are doing very, very well at the moment with these latest kits of theirs. Look at that. So the top one is for the pagoda extension, the roof extension, if you like. It's there really just to give light, I think, and a bit of extra ventilation. But you can see we've got some beautiful clarity to these clear parts that really look almost perfect. Almost. Really, really nice. So I'll pop that away, and we will have a look at the meat and potatoes of the actual truck itself. And then we'll finish off, I think, with the tracks. At least they're not complete link tracks where you've got to build every link. It's link and length, so that does take away a lot of the repetitiveness. This is the thing that I think people find a struggle with. Things like tanks with lots of tracks, and ships where you've got little turrets or railings and things like that. I must admit I do struggle with stuff like that because it's just same. You're doing it for days and days and days doing the same sort of thing over and over. Not really very stimulating. It's a bit like working on a production line in a factory or something, you know, where there's no variety to the work at all. So here we go. So this is based on a Ford, isn't it, effectively? It's kind of based on a Ford design anyway. You've got the wings with the running boards here for you to stand on. And they've done that really rather well, I think. You've got your bonnet here. And you've got your bench seat over there. This is the internal of the door, with the door handles. Here you've got the roof and the windscreen area, top of the scuttle. Here are the doors themselves. which again they have separate door handles, but they're really nicely moulded. That's the surround for the spare tyre, I think, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. It is actually the wheel arch for the rear wheel arches. And then you've got the hoop over the top, support hoop. Yeah, and some very nice moulded parts again. Really well done. We've got that radiator that looks the business, doesn't it? I like that one. And then we have all the small ancillary parts, and there's a lot of fine stuff here. Again, some really nice moulding. We've got the steering wheel there. And we've got our differentials here. Differential housings. The drive shafts here and here. Complete with universal joints on the end. Parts of the bracing for the lower part of the chassis where the steering is. You've got the steering itself, the steering rack. Where's it gone? Sorry, I've lost it. Here, steering rack. Engine there, and the gearbox. And the cylinder head covers. Those are quite nicely done, aren't they? Cylinder head covers. That's the air filter. What else have we got? The radiator itself there, the radiator housing here. And that's the radiator, the back of the radiator here. Jerry can over here. Good old fashioned jerry can. Where's the handles for the jerry can? Because we know there are some. They're going to be very fine, aren't they, I think. Just a lot of very nice parts, and obviously you've got your chassis rail here at the bottom and one at the top. Also you've got your headlights there as well. You've got your instrument panel here. Very nice, very nice. That's super. Then we have got and these are really good, I've got to say, the wheels and tyres. And then instead of going for rubber this time, vinyl, they've gone for proper injection moulded plastic, and you can see the difference. That's really nice. So it has like not only does it have the tread, but it has it's all in one piece. Those look absolutely superb, I'd say, especially the treads there. I don't know if you can catch this. The treads look absolutely brilliant. Those are nice. Those are really nice. And then you've got, these are the steps I was talking about that go at the back. These very wide steps enable you to wheel a trolley up like a ramp almost into the back of the ambulance. And then you've got your back, your front bulkhead wall for the main ambulance rear section there, and this is the central part of the roof, the pagoda section. That's that one. Whoops, sorry, wrong way around here. There we go. And then we get to the actual the rear cabin for the ambulance itself. And as I mentioned, there's lots of doors and lots of windows in this, so there's quite a good light in this particular design, it has to be said, compared to the others. You know, you've got tons of windows and plenty of doors as well. Whoops, just got some good old flash, not on the part, but just loose. There's another piece there. That one as well. There we go. And then on this side you've got lots of little handles, and you've got your door, access door there, and so you've actually got two doors just on the right hand side in actual fact. That's very nice. And then last but not least, as I promised, we've got, and this I think is absolutely stunning. Have a look at these link and length tracks. They are done beautifully well. Try getting a bit closer, look at this. Now that is very fine indeed. I mean, that's Tamiya standard there. That is excellent. They're super sharp and there's no flash. This is the very latest 2024 production from ICM, and it kind of shows. And you've got your drive sprockets here, my fingers are. And then your road wheels. And over here you've got your idler wheels. And then up the side you've got more of these individual links, so the parts that you are going to have to make, which go around the actual apex of the wheels, if you like. And then you've got these shorter link and length sections here. But again, the moulding quality is beautiful. That's as good as anything I've seen. It's like Ryfield or Tamiya, that is. That's absolutely stellar. And then you've got your road wheels here. And then underneath you've got the sort of the reinforced sort of pipe work, as it were, that's underneath the cabin. And then you've got all these bits of the suspension for the half track with all the springs, which again is beautifully moulded. Really, really nice. Just flip it over the other side. It's actually better still. A bit more detail on this side. That's pretty nice, I would say. As good as the best in the industry, I think. And over here we've got some more drive shaft with the universal joints on either end, and your exhaust system there. That's lovely. Really, really nice there. Those links are really, really are special, those. Even the wheels are pin sharp, you know. It's just flawless, isn't it, really? He says, get into focus, what the hell. Absolutely brilliant. Wow, so there we are, really. That's now I have to be honest and just say that it's not my personal favourite subject, but this is so brilliantly executed. And by the way, I've just noticed on the artwork in the background, there's one of the goulash cannon field kitchens. I'll show you in a second. The field kitchen, mobile field kitchen, is shown in the background as well, which of course is one of their other kits that I reviewed a couple of months ago. So I would say that in terms of the execution of that is flawless. That's proper 10 out of 10 territory, no question. I think as a complete set, where are we? Sorry, I'll show you that artwork in one moment, but I've just found a way to get this all back in. Oh yeah, it's gone in okay. Without problems. So, the SANKAS ambulances. Now let me show you, let me zoom you in before I give you my final verdict. And you can see what I just spotted it then. Right in the background, in the centre of the picture, behind the Krankenhaus, the hospital. Can you see the goulash cannon? The mobile field kitchen there? Looks like they're serving lunch, doesn't it? Yep, they're serving some goulash, I reckon. Well, that's an absolutely superb set. I say it's not my personal cup of tea, but the execution is just absolutely superb on that. Is it 10 out of 10 when you've got 3 kits here? I have to say that the Renault one, there was a little bit of flash in that one, and I didn't feel that this one is the star, because that's the latest tooling, and it's just flawless. One or two minor issues, maybe with some of the glass, and maybe just a little bit of a flash here and there. Nothing major at all, quite minor. I think 9.75 out of 10 overall is a fair score for that. But this is not cheap. I think this is coming out at about £55, £60. But you're getting 3 kits, and again, if you want to make a diorama, that'll keep you going for months in terms of modelling fun, you know. And if you like your trucks, what is there not to like there? That's an absolutely superb set they've come out with. I mean, it just makes me excited about what they're going to think up next, you know. There's such an originality. They've obviously combined 3, you know, they've got a new tool and a couple of slightly older tools, and they've brought them together in a new set. And I think ICM are the kings of doing that. So well done ICM, 9.75 out of 10. Near as damn it to a 10, you know. You can just say, oh, it gave us 10 really, you know. Near enough. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. Quite a lot to get through there, and a little bit repetitive because obviously 3 trucks where there's a lot of parts that are similar. But it was enjoyable. It was more enjoyable than I thought it might be. And to see the way that they've gone about the moulding, especially on things like the tracks on that half-track truck, that is remarkable. Premium quality, prestige 2024, the latest technology and the latest high-end quality that you'd expect from people that would charge you more, frankly. So I think as a value package, even at about £60, that's really good. If you think of it as £20 a truck, you know, it's not a lot of money, is it really? Especially when you get something that good, you know. So thanks ICM, thank you for providing that. Really nice kit again. There's some more interesting ones coming out next month. Hope you'll tune in for those, and in the meantime I'm sure I'll have other things to hopefully interest and entertain you with. So in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned to the channel, and thanks to all the subscribers who've joined. I've mentioned before that I've got well over 9,000 now and marching on towards 10,000. Let's hope that might be achieved this year. That would be fantastic. It would be a real pleasure to see that, actually. That's probably my target, really. Any more than that is just really a bonus. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, thanks a lot. Take care of yourselves. Stay well, stay safe. Thanks for your time. And bye for now.